officers, we'd love to have a conversation with you. We're doing some great stuff at Cap Direct. It's a unique look on mortgage brokering for brokers by brokers. Listen, we maintain more control of the company and the technology and all of the marketing than any other mortgage company in the country. If you want to learn more about it and our beautiful tech stack, reach out to me, fill out the information down below for a discreet conversation. And you shouldn't do it because today's story is kind of crazy, and it's something I've known about for a couple of years and I really haven't spoke about. It's the biggest trend that's hitting the mortgage and real estate industry. It's FDIC banks getting real estate agents their NMLS license and paying them a referral fee on a loan transaction. Now, you've probably heard about this by now. For agents who are commission uncertain and loan officers who are looking for a competitive advantage during these lean times, this model is really appealing. I get it. I actually worked a system like this about 2 years ago with a DRE license where the realtors had to go through all the licensing requirements, including the test. How did it turn out? I mean, I had probably close to about 1,000 real estate agents. Not a single one followed through with everything. Now, these are agents who gave me their information, said they wanted to do this, where we actually followed up time after time again, and we did not get even one to follow through with it. So then about a year ago, the FDIC lending model came out. Now, I was told the agents only had to get their NMLS license, which takes just a couple of seconds to do. I mean, it's super easy. And just a couple of hours of education, and they're done and off to the races. And I can legally violate RESPA with a referral fee. If only it was that easy. It turns out the agents have to do a ton of continuing education. Now understand this, the only difference is the bank, the FDIC bank, is responsible for the education, not the state. It turns out that's overwhelming. Now, I got a few hundred agents this time to jump in and join me with this. A few hundred. I got like 15 through the education part of the process. Or more accurately, I got 15 agents through the licensing, all the education, the fingerprinting, the background checks, and the attestation. Here's the problem. Even if you get the agents that far, they've got to do yearly continuing education, which began almost immediately. Now, through this process, I had a full-time in-house person who kept track of where these agents were so we could call them, email them, and text them to keep them all on track. We got like 15. And without having a full-time in-house person, I'm not sure we would have had even 3 or 4 out of hundreds. In short, it's a pain in the ass, and it's a full-time job just to go through the licensing process. You see, these FDIC banks have oversight, regulation, and enforcement from the Comptroller of the Currency, the FDIC, and the CFPB. It's entirely different than what you guys are used to. It's been explained to me that their enforcement and oversight is far more burdensome than what we have to deal with at a state level. So though they're doing this, it's not exactly everything that it's cracked up to be. Now, I've also heard of other FDIC banks following a similar path, but have dumbed down the education part of the process. Or they're not getting agents in MLS license, but real estate brokers, the actual brokers, and running all their agents through the one licensed real estate broker. It was recently explained to me that the real estate broker gets part of the commission, where they then pay the real estate agent part of that commission as well. I think this is something of a thank you for keeping all that loan business in-house. In these cases, that's a RESPA violation, clear cut. Of course, the real estate broker is probably running the mortgage commission through the real estate part of the commission. So rather than paying the mortgage commission to the agent, they simply increase the real estate commission split and forego the mortgage commission entirely. The real estate brokerage would probably call this probably a legal workaround. I'd call it a RESPA violation. Why would I do that? Because in this scenario that I just laid out, the real estate broker is working in the capacity as a loan officer, and the real estate agent who works for him is a real estate agent. So when that real estate broker cooks the books acting as a loan officer to pay the real estate agent, that's a RESPA violation. Pretty clear cut, don't you think? The question is this whole thing going to get enforced? And for that, we're yet to see. Maybe or maybe not. I do know this though, the real estate industry is not nearly as tightly regulated with punitive outcomes as the mortgage industry. So when a realtor or a real estate broker goes into this arrangement, I think they do so without the understanding exactly what's at stake. All they're seeing is the opportunity to earn more money on a transaction. Considering these real estate brokerages are undoubtedly looking at the near future loss of income from the Missouri NAR, MLS-based class action lawsuit, and the pending charges the DOJ is looking to make, which will cost realtors even more money, it's understandable that these real estate brokerages would be looking for new revenue streams. It's kind of like being lost in the desert, and then you find an oasis with a cool, piranha-filled lake in the middle of the desert. Now, you may be able to jump into that lake a few times and not get bit, but once the piranhas figure out you're in the water, they're going to take you down to the bone in seconds. The question is, how hot does it need to get in the real estate and mortgage industry, or the desert in our metaphor, before you test the waters? Because everybody's got a breaking point, and eventually the piranhas are going to eat you. This is exactly what some real estate brokerages with mortgage lenders, FDIC banks, are doing right now by not getting their individual agents NMLS licensed and just paying them. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to get busted. I mean, for sure, but speaking from experience, and for sure saying it's not as easy as you think it is. I can just picture loan officers saying, man, I'm going to sign up 1 million realtors and get filthy rich. I'm also saying that the possibility for an enforcement action that could irreversibly affect your ability to write loans in the future is at stake. I don't know. I think this is another example of what plagues the real estate and mortgage industry and has always been the case, that being prioritizing easy over right. And perhaps in this case, legal. If you're a realtor or lender going down this road, all I'd say is proceed with caution. Of course, there is the alternative, which is to just do better at your job by putting in a solid 40 hours and truly focusing your mental acuity on the decisions and solutions that you need to make with your chosen profession. But hey, that requires work, and sometimes, I don't know, we want to take the road more often traveled, and nobody likes that. I hope this helps, and if you like our show, make sure you forward and you share this on all your social sites because it truly helps us. Thank you.